honestly don't know why I put up with this.
What? You know, you got some nerve cutting me off like that mid-rant. Just shows how much of a pussy you really are.
Oh, can you please just leave me alone for one goddamn minute? I mean, come on, is that so hard to ask?
Oh, cry me a river, clown. I wouldn't have to do this shit if you actually let us collaborate for once.
How many times do I have to tell you, Ultrafan, you wouldn't be a good fit for this type of content, so stop asking me.
How can you say that when you never even gave me a fair chance to begin with?
Because I know you, Ultrafan, and I know you'll just do the exact opposite of everything I tell you.
Well, you're not wrong, but still give me a chance at least.
No.
But I'm bored.
Not my problem.
Come on, please.
No.
Pretty please?
No.
Pretty please with a cherry on top?
What are you, 5?
No, but if that's the level I have to go down to in order to get a spot in your video, then so be it.
This is so stupid.
You can't blame anyone here but yourself.
You know what? I give up. Obviously, you're not gonna leave, and obviously, I can't get rid of you. So you can be in this next video, alright?
Wait, really? Like right now?
Yes.
Wow. That was easier than I thought it was.
On one condition.
Oh boy, I knew there was gonna be a catch.
Don't talk while I'm talking. Don't make any unnecessary comments. Matter of fact, don't even breathe, alright?
You know that's 3 conditions, right?
What did I just say?
Alright, I was just saying, jeez. I'll shut my trap.
Okay. I'm gonna get straight to the point. I was not the biggest fan of RPGs. I never liked the whole grinding and turn-based aspects of it. I always felt like the rules of these games force you only make things more slow and tedious for players. And before you go running to the comments prepared to crucify me for my criticisms, I'm well aware that those aspects are purposeful to the challenge of the game, but honestly, I felt like it made the simplest of tasks, such as fighting an enemy, more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, why do I have to take turns trading shot with the enemy? Why can't I just fight the enemy head on without having every one of my attacks being based on luck? It just never made any sense to me. You see, I'm the type of guy that likes constant action when playing a video game. I like when the game keeps on moving you forward without any roadblocks or aspects slowing down the overall experience. You can say I'm more of an active player than a thinking one. Being headfirst in the action is a whole lot more interesting than watching. And it can be argued that the turn-based battle mechanics in RPGs is the main action of the game, but in my opinion it never really looked or felt actiony to me, if that's even a word. Sure, I would see my characters hurt the enemy, but I would never feel the impact of those attacks. Like I was on the sidelines commanding an army that only 50% of the time actually hits their target. These overarching problems would influence how I looked at other games in the RPG genre. Some of these games I found, such as Persona, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, and so many more games in the genre, looked and sounded interesting to me from a storytelling and art style point. But the only thing that was really holding me back from playing them was that they were RPGs. And one of those games in that list just so happened to be EarthBound. You see, EarthBound was one of those games I watched more than I played. I knew so much about its history, lore, and its overall impact on the gaming community without even touching it once. I guess you could call it indirectly playing the game. I mean, I did the same with Zelda after all.
Hold on, wait, hold on just 1 minute. You've never played The Legend of Zelda?
No, why?
What the hell is wrong with you?
What do you mean what's wrong with me? You're acting like it's not normal for people to have never played a Zelda game before.
It's not normal. You're really gonna sit here and tell me you haven't played not a single one? Not even Breath of the Wild?
0.
Weirdo. Anyways.
Did you just call me a weirdo?
Anyways. What exactly got you to play Mother 2 anyway?
It's EarthBound.
It's actually Mother.
Whatever. Honestly, I can't pinpoint a reason for why I decided to play EarthBound. I mean, it just kinda happened out of the blue. Maybe I was influenced by a review, or maybe some of the constants the game had to offer. I can't really say for sure, but what I can say is that when I did play EarthBound for the first time, I went in with a clear mind, free from any biases or discrepancies that I had with the genre at the time. And I will admit that it was a little intimidating at first getting myself entangled with an RPG game, but when I started playing it, it actually wasn't that bad. Oh, who am I kidding? This game was amazing! The story, the atmosphere, the many characters and townspeople you visit is such a spectacle to experience. The game feels like an adventure from the very start, constantly throwing new objectives and situations in your face at any given moment. The combat is surprisingly satisfying, the scenarios are actually funny, and the overall presentation is just fantastic.
Okay. Do you feel good now that you finally got that out of your system?
Yeah.
Okay. Now do me a favor and say that sentence again without sounding like an absolute geek.
Oh, you have no room to talk, Ultrafan. You are literally the embodiment of a goddamn geek.
I am most certainly not. I might be a nerd, but I am most definitely not a geek.
What's the difference?
A nerd is a dignified individual who quietly enjoys one or more topics, while a geek is an obsessive bore who shoves their geekish ideas into everyone's faces.
You know what? I'm just gonna pretend this whole conversation didn't just happen and get back to talking about EarthBound, alright? I'm not a geek. Anyway, one of the first things that caught my eye was EarthBound's overall battle system. It has your normal attacks, healing magic, and all that RPG mumbo-jumbo you know so well about. But with those aspects aside, the combat is surprisingly fast, with battles usually taking less than a minute to finish, depending on the enemy or how strong your characters are. It's also really satisfying to get a high number of damage or hear the sound when you get a critical on the enemy. Another thing I like about EarthBound's battle system is how you encounter enemies in the overall. You see, there's 3 ways to trigger a battle: neutral, player advantage, and enemy advantage. The names kind of speak for themselves. A neutral battle is just a normal battle with both sides having equal amounts of chances to attack, and it's activated when you or an enemy face each other head on. A player advantage battle is activated when you attack the enemy from behind, ultimately giving you the first few hits in the battle. But to make things fair, the enemies also have that ability as well, as if an enemy attacks you from behind, they have the first move, and you don't want that to happen, especially when you go against the higher leveled enemies. I think this mechanic in a lot of ways keeps the battle balanced between both parties, and it allows you to gain the upper hand in battle in some cases. Another huge thing I like about EarthBound is its super simple premise. You're a young boy named Ness who gets appointed by a magical bee from the future named BuzzBuzz to save the world from an overarching evil known as Gygus. But you're not alone on this journey, as you're joined with a psychic girl named Paula, a genius mechanic named Jeff, and a prince who's also psychic named Pooh. I'm sure the developers had a fun time coming up with that name. Your main objective throughout the game is to absorb the 8 melodies from each corresponding sanctuaries, which are located in different parts of the world, using a soundstone given to you by a dying BuzzBuzz, whose death is nothing short of hilarious. I mean, in the beginning, we're shown that this bee is an all-powerful insect that literally takes on a Starman Jr., who, at your current level at that time, is one of the strongest enemies you've faced yet. And then he just gets fucking bitch-slapped by Pokey's mom. It's one of the most unexpected moments for me in this game, and it would set the tone for the rest of this game moving forward. I don't think I gotta explain how weird and bizarre EarthBound can get at some points. I mean, for one, the enemy designs are just all over the place. I mean, you fight a goddamn taxi in a road sign, for Christ's sakes. You could be going down a normal path in a normal town, and then you suddenly find yourself in a village full of some questionable cultists with the overfixation around the color blue. Or you'll stumble across a valley full of creatures that all go by the name Mr. Saturn. This game never runs short of surprises and unexpected moments for me, and it's honestly the reason why I find its world so enthralling. Wish I could say the same for the characters though. Look, when it comes to combat, the main party gets the job done, especially Jeff. That man is just OP. But when it comes to actually being characters, well, they just suck. They don't talk, they don't interact with each other, they don't even react to anything unless the plot demands it. I think the closest thing we've gotten to any kind of emotion from these characters is when Photoman appears to take their picture, and Ness is the only one that poses in it. Look, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that this was an intentional design choice, but still, why though? It would have been so cool to see Ness and his friends make little comments here and there about their current situation or their surroundings. You know, to add some character to them. But complaining aside, those small details won't smother my enjoyment of EarthBound. In fact, I would say having the characters be mute for most of the game adds a lot more emphasis to the world of EarthBound. Every town, city, or valley you visit has its own distinct flair to it, packed with a variety of interesting landmarks and townspeople. You can easily tell the difference between Onet from Threed, or Winters from Summers. They all have their own special significance to the plot and identity that allows them to stand out from one another. One example I can give of this is a place I kinda briefly discussed already, the Valley of the Saturns, or Saturn Valley as it's written in the game. I found this area to be the most bizarre compared to every other place you visit in this game. For one, the creatures that inhabit the area look like tiny little blobs with big noses and whiskers. And to add on to their wackiness, the font in which their text is formatted in is a bunch of squiggly letters that look like a first grader wrote it. Those little details give Saturn Valley its identity, and it's still why I remember it as much as I do today. Another thing I like about EarthBound's world is its overall design and setting. Unlike other RPGs that theme their world behind fantasy, EarthBound goes for a more semi-realistic style to its world. A lot of the areas you visit in this game are based off of real places, like for example, Winters is based off of England and Scotland, and the deserts of Scraba are based off of ancient Egypt. I really like this design choice because it makes the world feel a lot more grounded and close to home, if that makes any sense. But one thing that I just can't seem to grasp is all these things and all these places have all these cover names like Foggy Land and Eagle Land and all that, and then just Stonehenge. It just comes out of nowhere. The line was drawn, and it was drawn at Stonehenge. All jokes aside though, another big thing that I like about EarthBound is its cast of side and supporting characters that you meet along your journey. And one of those characters, or should I say group of characters that come to mind, were the band members of Runaway 5. For most of the game, you're helping these guys pay off their debts to some greedy landlords and stage owners. And this always humored me because of how a group of performers literally rely on a 12-year-old kid to help pay off their debts. And now that I think about it, a lot of people in this game rely on Ness and his friends to help out. I get he's a child of prophecy and everything, but what regular person's gonna know that? No person's gonna be like, they should have a busting light upon them. Let me acquire their likeness so they may aid me in my endeavors. Like, nobody's gonna say that.
Don't you think you're looking into it a little too hard?
No, I think it's a pretty normal thing to ponder on. I mean, you wouldn't go ask some random kid on the street to do some big favor for you now, would you?
Depends on the kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a lot of rich and spectacular kids out there, and if they're offering their services to me without anything in return, why should I question it? It's free labor.
Wow. I actually can't argue that. That's crazy. Adding on to the onslaught of EarthBound's cast of characters, the random townspeople that you visit along the way are nothing short of hilarious. Every scenario and situation you find yourself in, there's always a townsperson with a clever line or a wacky take on a situation. One, if not the funniest things I've seen a townsperson say. Not even a supporting character, just a random background character at a Runaway 5 concert, and she just for no reason just obliterates her husband with this line. Absolutely no chill, and we've only scratched the surface of EarthBound's many comedic moments. I don't think I have to tell you that this game does not take itself seriously, and it's not afraid of embracing it. This game probably has one of the wackiest and out of this world scenarios that still stick to me to this day. I don't want to spend hours going over the crazy shenanigans that you'll find yourself in this game, so only focus on the one that I found the funniest. You see, you and the gang are in the desert, and you have to help this miner clear out 5 big moles that are underneath the dig site. But the real funny thing about this whole situation is that all 5 moles think that they're the 3rd strongest mole amongst themselves. It's gotta be one of the most ridiculous shit I've seen in this game, which is saying a lot because this game has a lot of ridiculous shit in it. But I think the thing that really puts the icing on this beautiful cake is that after you finish defeating all the numerically moronic moles and make your way to Foreside, the miner's brother comes and tells you that they only found a diamond in the most nonchalant way possible, and gives it to you like it's some worthless artifact. Even the random people surrounding the dig site are bummed out that only a singular diamond was found in the mine. Oh heavens no, they only found a diamond? What a bunch of amateurs, am I right?
For shame.
For shame indeed. Moving on from that, I want to bring up another aspect of EarthBound that I can say has changed my overall viewpoint of RPGs as a whole, and that aspect is how EarthBound handles its progression. One of the things I really like about EarthBound is how much control you have over your progression. The game a lot of the time kinda lets you go at your own pace, and never penalizes you for going off the beaten path. And yeah, the game at some points gives you an objective to complete in order to progress the story, but it's kinda more of a steer in the right direction than it is a forceful command. The same goes for battling enemies and gaining levels. You don't have to fight every enemy in the game, and you don't have to grind endlessly for levels. Is it encouraged? Yes. But is it necessary? Not really. It's possible to beat the game with minimal grinding, but if you want to be extra careful with the boss encounters and gain access to all the stronger abilities early, then by all means, go for it. Last but not least, the thing that really sells how good EarthBound's progression is how the game masterfully shows your progress through enemy activity. You see, when you and your party reach a higher level than the enemies in that area, they'll suddenly run away from you. It's actually a lot more prominent when you defeat a Sanctuary Guardian, because after you beat one, all the enemies in the area begin to run away from you. And another cool perk under that whole character progression arc thing is that if you confront an enemy that's weaker than you, your character instantly kills the enemy without even being sent to a battle screen. It's one of the little things I appreciate from this game. It actually makes me feel like I'm getting stronger than something or someone telling me that I am getting stronger. The developers had no reason to add small details like this, but in them doing that delivers a stronger message that you are getting better in every step of the way. So what?
That's it? Nothing else. You're just leaving it like that.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I still have to talk about the ending and get my final takeaway on the subject, and then I can say the video is finished.
And you don't think you're missing anything else?
What are you getting at?
Well, sorry to be that guy, but Where are the negatives?
The what now?
The negative aspects of Mother 2, you numbnut.
How was I supposed to know you were alluding to that?
I don't know. Maybe put 2 and 2 together, you dickwad.
You calling me a dickwad? You literally said one word and expected me to get it right away. If anything, you're the dickwad here, dickwad.
Oh, I see you flip my words against me. Clever maneuver, clown. Real clever.
I don't think you realize how much of an infuriating person you really are.
Oh, I'm well aware, but that's not really that important. Are you going to talk about the negatives or not?
If I talk about it, will it get you to shut up?
No promises.
I hate you so much. For as much as I praise EarthBound for the last 15 minutes, I cannot deny that there are some aspects of this game I just did not enjoy. So I'm going to briefly go over all the things that I didn't like about EarthBound. The inventory system. It sucks ass. You can only carry but so many items in your backpack before you inevitably lose space. And plus, all your necessities such as your ATM card, town map, soundstone, and all your equipable items take up almost half of your inventory space. And you might be saying to yourself, well, it can't be that bad. I mean, you still have some of your space left for all your extra stuff, right? And then here's the part where I subvert your whole expectations. You can't stack items! Every item in the game, including food, takes up its own inventory slot, and it's annoying as hell, especially when you want to pick up more valuable items. And before you tell me about the other party members, yes, I'm well aware that they act as a sort of upgrade to your storage, but the same storage issues apply to them as well, meaning that their storage will fill up just as fast as yours. Escargot Express. The quote-unquote remedy to your storage problem. But knowing that it's already on this list can tell you that it sucks too. This delivery service that your sister works at allows you to store some of your miscellaneous items from your inventory. But the problem with that is that you have to call these people every time you want to store something, and you only have a limit of 3 items they can take off your hand. So you have to be very careful on what you want to store. It honestly gets super tedious when you have to contact and wait for Escargot Express to show up at your location. And heavens no, if you press the wrong option on your phone, because once they're sent out, you gotta wait for them to show up, tell them you fucked up, call them again, wait 30 more seconds for them to show up, and then proceed to do the same shit you wanted to do when you called them the first time. It's stuff like that that really annoyed me throughout my playthrough of EarthBound, and honestly, if I were you, I would just teleport to Onet and store my items with my little sister. It's free of charge, there's no 3-item limit bullshit, and it's overall an easier way of storing your items. Until it gets full and shit. Peaceful Rest Valley. Fuck this level, fuck this level, fuck this level. Stonehenge Base. Fuck this level, fuck this level, fuck this level, fuck this level, fuck Townspeople AI. Move into my goddamn way. The bicycle. What's the point of this? Photo Man. Monkey Cave Exchange. I personally think this is one of the more weaker parts of the game. This whole monkey cave section, in my opinion, feels like a necessary filler to pad out an already long and driven out section of the game. You see, your objectives, yes, objectives, are to retrieve this trout yogurt dispenser thing and meet up with this wise old man at the very end of this cave. But the only thing that's really stopping you from getting there is an onslaught of monkeys blocking every pathway in the cave. And instead of beating them up like you would do any other creature that crosses your path, you have to give each of these monkeys a specific item of their request in order to progress further into the cave. And this is where my problems derive from. It's not the fact that we have to find and give specific items to these monkeys that bothers me. It's the fact that the process of doing so is so plainly uneventful and monotonous. There wasn't a challenge, there weren't any big enemies to face off against. It was literally just give this monkey this item they want, progress further, find this other thing this other monkey wanted, and then go back and give said monkey the item they want. And you see where I'm getting at? It just wasn't fun to me. But I think by far the biggest annoyance I've had with this game was not from something, but from someone. And that someone was Pokey. This fat, prepubescent motherfucker gives you the absolute most trouble in this game. Every scene he's in just pisses me off because of how much of an unlikable little shit he is. He's always halting your progression, he's always calling in names, and he's always for some reason one step ahead of you in every situation. I don't even care if he was under Geiger's control in some of these situations because he's been like this from the very start. This man comes and knocks on your door in the middle of the night just to go see some space rock and doesn't even help you fight the onslaught of enemies in your way. Everyone in your party at that point put in some kind of effort in fighting the enemy, while Pokey just sits back and complains about nothing. God, I swear Pokey is literally the walking, breathing definition of the fucking neighbor's kid. Oh, but Mega, have some sympathy for him. He's just a kid. Nah, fuck that. He called me a loser. But all jokes and complaints aside, the issues I listed down were more or less minor problems I had with EarthBound, and in no way ruined my overall positive experience with this game. There you have it now, Ultrafan. I went over everything I disliked about this game. So do me a favor now and shut up so I can finish my goddamn video, alright? Carry on, I guess. The journey has been a long one. So long, in fact, that I honestly forgot it would all soon come to an end. I was so attached to everything that EarthBound had to offer to the point where I didn't want it to end. But alas, my progression would inevitably bring me closer to the finale of this game. After you defeat the last Sanctuary Guardian and record the final melody into your soundstone, you're teleported to the dreamlike world of Magican, where you see many creatures, people, and enemies you've interacted with throughout your adventure. But as you get deeper into Magican, things start to get hostile, as enemies start appearing on the pathways. But that's okay, because you have these humanoid bird creatures known as flying men, who are supposed to be a representation of your courage, that can help you through battles. But as you get deeper into Magican, you find yourself in the Sea of Eden, where you find the Mani Mani statue, which I forgot to tell you is the main catalyst for many of the obstacles you face throughout your campaign, but let's pretend I've told you this already. But yes, the Mani Mani statue resides in your subconscious, acting as the evil side of yourself you never knew you had. And after indulging in a heated fight with the statue, who uses your signature abilities to kick your ass, you finally defeat the evil inside of you and reach your maximum potential. From there, you wake up surrounded by your friends, and they tell you that while you were sleeping, you kept on mumbling the word Saturn Valley, and that's where you head next. So you teleport to Saturn Valley and find the Apple Kid, Dr. Andronauts, and a Mr. Saturn in front of a newly built phase distorter. But before he can use this machine/ship thing, it needs to be powered using a material known as zeonite, which so happens to be inside of a certain meteor that you found at the beginning of the game in Onet. But once you arrive, you find that Onet has already been ransacked by Gaiga's forces, and after vigorously making your way up to the top of the hill, you successfully retrieve the zeonite piece from the meteorite and head back to Saturn Valley. From there, you give Dr. Andronauts the zeonite piece in order to power the phase distorter, and head over to Gaiga's supposed location. But once you and everyone else arrive, you're found in another dilemma. Gaigas is actually attacking from the past, and the only way to reach it is for Ness and his friends to transport their brains into metal robots, because the phase distorter can't send physical human bodies into the past. Okay, this is starting to get a little scary. But I mean, what am I worried about? I mean, they're just kids. I mean, surely they wouldn't go through with something like that. I stand corrected. After you and your teammates go through with the operation, you're teleported into the past in order to finally confront Gaigas. And holy shit. This section was tense. There were enemies everywhere, the setting was gray and lifeless, and the music that accompanied you during this section was ominous and almost unsettling. It was like something I had never seen in this game before, and really adds to the fact that things from here on out were going to be serious. And after pushing through a huge wave of enemies, you finally make it up to the cave where Gaigas is, and man, if this whole section didn't give me chills before, then it most definitely gave me chills now. I mean, we're literally walking down what looks like human intestines. And wait a minute, is that breathing? Is the cave breathing? Oh my gosh, is this even the same game anymore? But anyways, you make it up to the heart of Gaigas, I think, and out of nowhere, Pokey's fat ass comes in to ambush you and your team, which leads to a final showdown between you and him. But once Pokey's finally had enough with us, he reveals Gaigas' true form, and honestly, How can I describe this? I'm not the first, and definitely not the last person to talk about this final boss. I mean, what hasn't been said about this fight that hasn't already been discussed, analyzed, and broken down to its very core? It's chaotic, scary, creepy, indescribable, and overall just terrifying. It's such a far cry from every enemy you've encountered so far in this game, which makes Gygas stand on a whole other level. It's not a physical being, it's not your run-of-the-mook villain, it's literally the embodiment of pure evil. I honestly can't imagine being a kid in the 90s playing this little kiddie game with all these cutesy wacky enemies and creatures, and then you end up fighting this shit. But anyways, the final battle starts and you and your party members start attacking Gygas, but you soon realize that any kind of attack you throw doesn't hurt Gygas at all, making you and your team utterly helpless against this formidable force. Even Pokey starts to laugh at your efforts, telling you that your only option now is to pray for your own survival. But unbeknownst to Pokey is exactly what we have to do. So Paula starts to call out to everyone we've met throughout our adventure in order to pray for their survival, and this starts to greatly weaken Gygas. But the more you weaken Gygas, the more chaotic it becomes, which makes things so much more tense, especially with the ear-scorching sounds that accompany the utter chaos of this monstrosity. But even with the combined prayers of your colleagues, it still isn't enough to defeat Gygas. And that's when Paula starts to call out to people outside of her circle, in order for them to aid them in their battle. And this final person, who you've given a random name during your adventure, is what inevitably puts the final nail in the coffin for Gygas. And before I knew it, the game was over. The journey I had spent countless hours and weeks on was finished. Gygas was defeated, everyone in your party goes back to their normal lives, and peace was overall restored to the world. And although this ending was satisfying and a well-deserved send-off to the game, I still couldn't help but feel a level of emptiness at this game's inevitable conclusion. There were no extra missions or side quests to do to drag out the game. It was just over. And even if I played through the game again and again and again, it still wouldn't carry the same weight as when I experienced it for the first time. Those memories of turning on EarthBound and playing it to its very extent for the first time are memories I can never get back. Memories that I can't ever relive again. My experience with EarthBound has really shifted my view of RPGs as a whole. It made me understand that there's more to this specific genre of gaming than just grinding and tedious tasks, that there are real engaging stories, with a variety of interesting characters and settings that make you so much more connected to the game. And while EarthBound's story has unfortunately come to a complete end, more stories began to sprout within the genre for me, and some of those stories would eventually take the spot of EarthBound as being my favorite RPG. But even with that fact, this game will still hold a special place in my heart as the one that started it all. It's finally over.
You see, now, was that so bad?
Yeah, if you don't count for the constant interruptions, going off script, and complete and blatant insubordination, then yeah, I would say it was a jolly old time.
Oh, don't get your balloons in a twist, Pennywise. I know you like having me around. Just admit it already.
Real funny. Didn't know comedy was one of your strong suits, Ultrafan.
Well, someone's gotta be the comic relief around here. I mean, you aren't doing much of it anyways.
What is that supposed to mean?
You're not funny.
You know what? I've had enough of this for today. Hector, stop the recording.
Hector? Oh no, don't tell me.
I'm honestly surprised it took you this long to figure it out. I mean, you're the one that hacked into it.
I thought I hacked into your TV or something, not this worthless piece of junk. Hey, I have feelings, you know. Yeah, sure. Real rich coming from a heartless tin can. Hey, you take that back. Why, it's true.
Alright, enough already. Can we please wrap this up so I can go to sleep?
Not until he apologizes for that comment he made. Yeah, let me just go apologize to this talking plastic right here. Or better yet, why don't I just apologize to my phone every time I drop it? Or better yet, why don't I just apologize to every computer and appliance I've replaced in the last 10 years?
Alright, we get it. You don't want to apologize. So can we please stop with this stupid arguing already?
Apologize.
No.
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 Come on,
This is
apologize.
the life
No. Apologize.
I unfortunately chose to live.